But the other speakers at CPAC that I think were really good, very very clear and concise, and at least they had their moments. Number one was James O'Keefe. If you don't know who James O'Keefe is, he runs an organization called Project Veritas. He's the investigative journalist who found out that Planned Parenthood was selling baby parts to, I don't know for what, but he found out they were. He found out that they were advising, how they're basically, I think he's the one that discovered that Acorn was basically advising pimps on how to set up their sex trafficking rings under a guise of real estate, basically. So he basically found that out. He destroyed Acorn. Acorn basically had to go out of business. They were nonprofit technically, I think, but they were gone within like 6 months after that got shown. He's the one that's been blowing the whistle. He gets a lot of whistleblowers out of these big tech companies, places like Facebook, places like CNN. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I think he's the one who actually was able to get the video that showed that ABC news reporter talking about how ABC killed the story on Jeffrey Epstein 2 years before Jeffrey Epstein was finally thrown in jail for sex trafficking. So James O'Keefe is kind of a big deal, and he keeps getting sued. He keeps getting arrested and things like that for just doing investigative journalism, which I thought was freedom of the press. And so far he's okay. But the main thing that came out of that speech is that he talked about how his page, Project Veritas, got banned from Twitter because even though he blurred out all of the characteristics, basically all the numbers and street names and signs and everything of a VP of Facebook, when they came up to his house and said, "Hey, why are you censoring people? We have you on tape saying you're going to censor people." He, even though he made sure that none of this guy's information was made public, his street name, his address, the number on his house, anything like that, he blurred all that out in the video. Even though he did all that, Twitter still banned his channel because they said it violates the anti-doxing regulations. The problem is that places like CNN, they do the same thing, only they don't blur out the numbers on their houses. And on top of that, CNN isn't doing this. When they go and do the same thing, they do it to people like you and me. They don't do it to the VP of Facebook. So what James O'Keefe did was he highlighted, okay, this is the reason why Twitter gave Project Veritas why their account was terminated or suspended. CNN decided to talk about it, and they started just going on, but most of what they were saying, he was highlighting, here's what they said, and most of it was not true. So James O'Keefe is going to be suing CNN. And here's the thing is, I've seen some interviews with James O'Keefe on this. He does not plan to settle. He wants to get to an area where we want your business emails. We want to see those because we want to see, do you collude with Twitter? What are your internal conversations about Project Veritas? And if he goes through and he actually gets that stuff, that's going to be great because CNN may actually, this may ruin CNN. And I think highlighting their lies, especially CNN, because MSNBC, is biased. Fox News, is biased. And even, there are other places, Vox, is biased. The Daily Wire, is biased. They come out and tell you effectively, this is our bias. CNN tries to say, oh, no. We play it straight. And, we're just telling the truth. We're trying to be very, very good and everything like that. So I think if James O'Keefe gets what he's looking for, and I think he will, and I hope he does, this could ruin CNN. But if they do find any coordination with any of these big tech companies, Twitter, Facebook, Google, Apple, this is going to be a huge thing. And any court ruling that comes out of that is going to be just a bombshell. So that is something you should find out. You should go and watch James O'Keefe's speech from CPAC. I believe it's on. You may not be able to see it on YouTube. I think the same thing with Trump's speech. Trump's speech got removed from YouTube, and YouTube has been banning people who repost that. So I would find Rumble. Rumble is a good video platform. Go find James O'Keefe's speech. I think it's only like 7-8 minutes, so it's not long. I definitely recommend go see that. He did a great job. Now, my favorite senator in the U.S. Senate is Ted Cruz, and he gave a speech as well. I'm going to say this. Ted Cruz is, I think, the most solid conservative. Again, I think I said this before, who I think should run for president in 2024. I think Ted Cruz is going to run for president in 2024. I don't... He's that, like, I always compare him to an NFL draft pick. Are you trying to find someone who is that solid, this guy's going to be a great draft pick. I just need somebody that's solid. He's that guy that's solid. He's not that guy that is the game changer. It's kind of, imagine right now if you had a chance to draft Brian Urlacher or Terrell Owens out of college, and you could do it at the same time. Ted Cruz is Brian Urlacher. He's okay. He's going to be good. He's going to be very, very good, but it's not. He's not this spicy, really, boisterous. He's not. He's boring. He's your basic conservative, and I mean basic in every way it's meant in the last 10 years. He's your basic conservative. So, but again, he's probably my favorite senator in the U.S. Senate, him and Rand Paul. But in this speech, he tried to it sounded like he was trying to be a hype man. And Ted Cruz should not be a hype man. He really shouldn't. He should just stick to what he's good at. He's very knowledgeable. He's very smart. This is a guy who has a Harvard degree, and he graduated from Harvard Law, and many of his professors have said he's probably the most intelligent person to ever come out of Harvard Law. He's argued before the Supreme Court. I mean, you should know who he is. He's actually really entertaining too when you have just when he's one-on-one with people. When you see one-on-one interviews with conservative outlets, conservative personalities like Ben Shapiro or Michael Knowles, he's actually really entertaining. He should not be a hype man. Because he sounds like he's someone who's sober trying to act drunk when he's doing that. So he shouldn't do that. Go ahead and watch his video, watch the speech. I mean, it wasn't a bad speech. Like, if you read the transcript, it wasn't a bad speech. But watching him give it, to me, it was a little cringe. And yeah, Ted Cruz should not be doing that. So if Ted Cruz ever watches this, please don't do that anymore, okay? We love you the way you are, buddy. All right, just stick to that, and you'll be good to go.